Good afternoon, everyone. This is meteorologist Kyle Wheeler with the National Weather Service in San Diego, and here to give you your weekly weather update for the week of January 27th, 2025. And what we're looking at this week is we're seeing our most recent storm system move out of the area. We still have some scattered rain and snow showers lingering throughout the rest of today, and potentially with some wraparound moisture sticking around through the daytime tomorrow as well. But then we start to clear out, we dry out again for the rest of the week, and by the weekend we start to warm up a decent bit above average. But before we get into what's coming up, let's take a look back at our storm system that affected us over this weekend. And what we saw was a pretty area-wide wetting rain. This was very beneficial for us. We haven't had um, area-wide decent rainfall totals like this since last rainy season, since back in April of 2024. So it's nice to see that in our area again, especially with the fire weather concerns going on recently. But we had a pretty widespread quarter of an inch to upwards of an inch in spots, particularly near the mountain slopes. And the low desert, Palm Springs, maybe only got like a tenth of an inch or so. But regardless, much better totals than what we've seen previously this rainy season so far. And we also had a decent amount of mountain snow, especially in our higher elevations of the San Bernardino Mountains, where some spots, as you can see on the right, the list on the right here had over a foot of snow, and it's still coming down in spots. So I wouldn't be surprised if up near Mount Baldy or Arabara Lake, if they end up with 18 plus inches by the time this is all said and done. But generally not expecting much more, just maybe some scattered light rain and snow showers here or there. And here's a look at our current satellite. We can see the spinning feature over Southern California right now, that big, broad, upper low pressure system kind of keeping us cloudy, keeping those lingering showers around, and that'll continue throughout the day and into tomorrow. And once again, we can sort of see this reflected in the global models here. On the left-hand side, we see for this afternoon, Monday afternoon, we have that low pressure right overhead, as denoted by the darker greens overhead with the big red L that I placed there. And that kind of is still basically in the same spot by tomorrow afternoon on our models. And so, once again, we're just kind of slow to get those lingering scattered showers and clouds out of here, but by midweek we'll be back to essentially business as usual with sunny skies and uh, not necessarily dry conditions, but it won't be raining or cloudy anymore. So through tomorrow afternoon, we expect once again very light rainfall totals, generally less than a tenth of an inch across some of the coastal valley areas and mountains, especially in San Diego County. And on the left-hand side here, we have our snow totals, generally less than an inch of an additional accumulation expected. Now, once that pesky low pressure system sort of moves out of our area by midweek, we start to see some weak ridging or a weak high pressure developing to our south, which will slowly start to warm us up through the end of the work week and into the weekend. And we'll actually see high temperatures getting well above average going into this weekend for this time of year. By the weekend, we see generally in our lower elevations, temperatures are in the upper 60s to even 70s, widespread 70s by Sunday in the low elevations, with generally 50s and 60s in the mountains. And even some of our desert spots could be reaching upwards of 80 degrees by Sunday afternoon. But even though we are expected to be warm this weekend, we do have generally onshore flow, which is good news. It's not going to be too dry. We're not expecting Santa Ana winds through the rest of this week. So that's a nice change of pace for sure. Looking forward into next week, it's looking like there'll be a fairly active storm track for the Pacific Northwest as we get into the early portion of next week. Whether or not that dips far enough south to affect our area is to be determined you can see we're sort of wedged between this area of below average precip and above average precip in the 6 to 10 day range. So it really could go either way right now, so I don't want to get anyone's hopes up just yet, but the chance for precipitation to return early to middle part of next week is certainly there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, and we'll be keeping you updated as that time comes closer. And last but not least, we have our resources listed below. We have alerts from the Weather Service, hazards that we have posted, water, precip, climate data, more detailed forecasts for your specific locations if you want it, and all of our socials, Slack, X, YouTube, and Facebook are listed below. So make sure you use these resources as necessary. Follow us on our socials, and we'll see you all back here next week. Thank you very much.